Alright, so I'm back at it again. We're starting right where we left off in the last video. Floating right outside of the moon's atmosphere. I'm not exactly sure really how far away I am currently, because we did just do a blind jump to try to get kind of close. I did a little bit of thinking, and I believe I like the idea of having the main base here being a station on an asteroid just outside of the moon's atmosphere. So maybe on like one of these asteroids around here, I might park the base. Probably what I'll do is either use the mining ship or the Mercy up there, because Mercy does have a ore detector on the back here. So I could use Mercy for that as well. I was thinking about flying around and seeing if I can find an asteroid made of just ice, or if not just ice, maybe one that has like a ton of resources on it. I'm thinking uranium and maybe like iron or something. Find an asteroid that's got a decent amount of like resources I'll be using a good bit of, and put the base there so I can kind of mine off that asteroid a bit. But I think the very first thing that I want to do, I want to take the mining ship out and I'll fly it into the atmosphere of the moon just to kind of see about how far away I actually am from the moon's atmosphere, as well as to get a little bit of an idea of whether or not some of these ships that I have can actually go in and out of the atmosphere. I'm fairly confident that Mercy will be able to fly in the moon's atmosphere no issue, just due to all the hydrogen thrust on there. But Doug, the mining ship here, only has 5 of the small atmospheric thruster, or not atmospheric, ion thrusters in the vertical position. So kind of want to see if that is enough to be able to sustain flight in the moon's atmosphere, which it should be able to, but fine. I'll drop the save right there. I'll head down a little bit, and what I want to do is just kind of slowly drift over towards the moon here. I'm going to be watching down at the bottom on the right side of the hotbar here for as soon as I get a little bit of P gravity showing up on the hotbar there. So right now I'm at 0.00 G's of gravity. As soon as I get a little bit of gravity coming in, I'm going to stop and I'll make a waypoint, just that way I know right where the edge of the atmosphere starts. And then from there I can fly to the surface. I'll make a save as soon as I grab that GPS, because I should still be able to back out of the atmosphere right on the edge of it. Make another save, make the waypoint, and then head down to the surface and see if my mining ship has the ability to fly in atmosphere. Maybe fill up the cargo with stone just to see if it can. Oh, there we go. Right at the edge of the gravity field right here. So I'm going to back up until it goes right back to 0. So right here. So let's do /GPS, and we'll do moon atmosphere. Don't know if I spelled that correctly. Probably not, but that'll be good enough. So we'll make that. Save the game. So now I'm just outside of the moon's atmosphere. So my base is about 2,000 kilometers away, or 2 kilometers, 2,000 meters away from the moon's atmosphere. Now what I want to do is fly down to the surface, and I'll see if my mining ship can actually sustain flight on the moon here. There seems to be a lot of ice over there, so maybe I'll go grab some of that. What I will do is I'll go ahead and turn on my ore detector and antenna. And if I find any good deposits, I'll try mining that and see if I can fly with that. I think there is a deposit directly below me right here. There's a little bit of discoloration in that stone right there. Start seeing if I can slow down some here. Getting fairly close to the surface of the moon. Okay. And I'm seeing a waypoint over there. It's an ENMU beacon. Okay. Let's see. Very slowly still drifting towards the surface, so apparently my thrust is like right on the edge of being able to stop. Okay, but we do in fact have plenty of resources here. We got gold, iron, silver, cobalt, ice. That's what I'm seeing right now. Magnesium, nickel. So we got plenty of resources here. But I'm kind of interested in seeing what is that beacon over there. And it does seem that I shouldn't have much issue flying along the surface of the moon here. We got, ooh, gold and silver over there. Gold's going to be pretty good. Not too worried about marking anything at the moment. The range on this ore detector is fairly good, so it shouldn't take too long to find any deposits that I need to look for specifically. Should still be well loaded up on just about all of the materials that I would need for the foreseeable future, but just knowing that my mining ship can go down to the surface is pretty great to know. And all of the automation as far as being able to back out of a bored out tunnel and all that, that should all still work exactly the same. It's just going to take a little bit longer to just slow down and get to those waypoints, but it shouldn't affect any of that. The only thing that I do need to know is if I have enough thrust to be able to lift the full cargo's worth of materials. Which, seeing how slowly I was able to stop falling when I was when I had my ship horizontally, I'm thinking I probably won't be able to have the ship lay horizontal and still be able to lift off the surface of the planet here. But I'm thinking I should be able to just vertically mine and just use those two large thrusters in the forward and rear position and just vertically dip down, pick up some materials, and then back straight out. And I'm gonna fly over to the station real quick before doing anything else, because I want to take a look and see what this station has as far as like inventory and stock and all that. I haven't looked too heavy into the different faction stations and stuff, so I don't know which stations sell ship blueprints and all that, and which ones only sell certain resources and stuff like that. So I do want to go ahead and check out this station here and probably get a waypoint to it, just that way I can find it. In fact, one thing I could do, I could have my base jump relatively close to this station here, and even have my base inside of the safe zone for this station. I could do that just to try to protect it a little bit, and then if I need to make any modifications, I could come out of there and make modifications and then fly the base right back into the safe zone there. And this station is right outside of the safe zone, or not safe zone, but right outside of the gravity of the moon. So that'd be pretty good. I wouldn't need to leave the thrusters on for the station, or the base, I mean. Let's see here. Oh, nice. This one actually has a proper airlock. Okay, so what do we got in here? There's a vending machine. What do we got back here? It's another vending machine, I think. There's just a little access where it goes over to the ATM, so I can deposit and withdraw currency here. We got contracts. Let's see here. We have acquisition. That's not worth it, I don't think. No bounties. Here, escort missions. I could try some of these. As far as I'm aware, these aren't really worth the credits you get for it, though. Hauling. If I get a smaller ship with a decent jump drive on it, I can definitely do some of those. The repairs, generally, as far as I'm aware, aren't really worth the effort. And the searches, they're really easy to do, but they don't give you a whole lot. So that's interesting. It's got the same kind of contracts as the other base. Let's see, what do we got in the store? There are data pads, and that seems to be the only thing worth picking up. You can sell uranium here. Everything else looks about the same. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be worth it to sell that uranium. But these data pads here, I will buy all of them. So I get the GPS markers for some other stations, hopefully. And let's see. Access denied. Okay. Okay, I see. So the vending machine is tied to the actual store, it seems. I didn't know that, but I'm guessing you can just click on the little shopping cart button and it probably dispenses the item. It's not anything I really want. I can try to pick up a power kit just to see if it works the way I think it does. Well, it didn't drop anything. Is it in my inventory? Oh, okay. So when you buy stuff, it just goes straight to your inventory. That's interesting. Guess there's... Yeah, that's a window, I think, right there. The reason I can't just walk out. Makes sense. It is pressurized. What do we got up here? I can't access that. Can I sit down? Ooh, I can. So I can charge my suit in here. Okay. Air gun and a welder, I don't need any of that. Okay. Let's keep going up. Let's see what's up here at the top. Okay, access denied, so I can't enter there. Seems like some sort of bridge, I guess. So I am a little disappointed that the station doesn't sell ships, but I guess that will be fine. What I'll do, so I'll go ahead and take a look here. Yeah, so we got a station, and you can just click to create a GPS coordinate based on the station coordinates left in the datapad. So that was the bottom one, and I'll just work backwards through the inventory and grab waypoints for all these stations. And I'm not going to read all these numbers to make sure I don't get duplicates. That's way too much for me to do. I'm a very lazy person, so I'm not going to check to make sure I'm not getting duplicates here. Okay, so I think I've gotten all of them now. Let's open up the K menu, go here to GPS. So it seems none of these stations are duplicates, either that or if they are, because I think there's a lot fewer GPS coordinates than the things I had clicked on, so. But let me see, can I sell these back? Okay, I guess it has to have the data pads listed as a thing there, but that's fine. I don't want all these data pads in my inventory, so I'll fly out this way a little bit. I'm just going to dump these because I don't want them. I've grabbed the information I needed to grab, so these are now useless to me. Just dump all those off. And I'm going to fly over here to this unknown signal. Bumped it by mistake. And we got another boulder. Okay. Cargo is right there. We got a little bit of credits, power kits. Take it. I'm going to fly back over to my mining ship. And once I get there, I'm going to turn those waypoints I have. I'm going to turn those on. So that way I can see about how far those stations actually are from me currently. Hopefully not too bad. If I'm not mistaken, like I said, I don't know for sure because I never looked into it too heavy, but I think the DVCS stations have a good possibility of selling ships. So could be pretty interesting. Gonna turn these on. Alright, so you got a station. Seems to be kind of outside the atmosphere of Earth, like planet over there. Same as that one. There's one way out there. Yeah, that one's just off in space, it seems. Not really next to a planet. Those two are out that way. One's pretty far out. Okay, so seems to be the closest one is the ENMU station over there, which I think, yeah, this is also an ENMU station as well. Then there's also a DVSC station not too far from the Earth-like planet. So what I want to do is I want to find out which one of these stations is the one that's closest. It's not that one. So I'll go and save. So I'll set this color to yellow. Something like that'll be fine. Show on HUD off. Okay. And that's the one that I want. So what I'll do is I'll put in parentheses, we'll do Earth like in parentheses there, so that way I can keep track of that one. Then the rest of these I'll just go ahead and turn off because I'm not going to be needing any of these anytime soon. Same with that. So what I would like to do is copy the color of that station. I'll come back in so that way all of these should be right next to each other. And I'm going to paste in color code for that orange I had. So that way they're all the same color here. Okay. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a hard save. Back away from the station here, orient the right way. I'm gonna fly back down to the moon and my base is kind of on the other side of the moon here, so I just head straight off over that way and then back around the other side. I'll hit up another save once I get right around where that waypoint is, and then load up on stone just to see can my mining ship sustain flight with a full cargo load. I'll turn off my core detector and antenna and try to save a little bit of power on the way, because having to sustain altitude is going to eat up a good bit of battery just by flying in the atmosphere of the moon, because it's going to have those bottom 5 thrusters always on, always active, trying to equalize out the altitude. And that's something you want to try to keep in mind if you're playing around in space a whole lot. and then you go back into an atmosphere, it's going to be a little difficult for you to sometimes remember that just having your ship hovering, that will eat up some of your power. So like your batteries and all that, that's not going to last nowhere near as long in an atmosphere as it will in space, just due to the fact that you're always going to have some thrusters firing, as long as you're not docked up to something with your thrusters off. I think right here should be fine. I'll just start slowing down. Go ahead and hit a save. And what I want to do, somewhere around here will be fine. Actually, I can turn on my ore detector again and take a look and see. Is there anything super close by? Doesn't look like it. I know when I first came down there was a lot of deposits. So I might as well try it out with an actual deposit of something useful rather than solely just stone. So, let's put it around here. Actually, I can turn the antenna off. Yeah. I don't think my ore detector is actually detecting like it should be. Oh. Okay, well. Since that's not functioning like it should, I guess this will be as good a place as any. Goes down. Save. Save progress, yes. Okay. I want to try to go real slow. Barely tap. Okay, well, this is a little harder hitting than I would like, but that's because my thrusters are set specifically for use in space. Right now I'm going down with gravity as well as having the thrust override on, which I could probably just disable the thrust override if I'm going to be mining vertically, but what I want to do is just fill up my cargo and see, can my ship fly with all that extra weight? And that should be close enough right there. Let's see, can I back out? No, I can't back out. Let's check here. I don't have any of my flight controllers on. Don't think I do. Nope. Okay, yeah, none of that's on. So flight exit should be number 3. Turn that on and we'll see. Can the flight exit get out? No, it can't. So, what I'll do is I'll exit without saving and load back in, because now I know I cannot leave atmosphere with a full cargo load on the moon. That lets me know if I'm going to mine anything from the moon, it's not going to be with this ship. Or if it is, I'm going to have to make some heavy modifications, because even 2 large thrusters is not enough to back a full load of cargo off the moon. Now, there's already like equations and everything to determine how much thrust you would need to lift a certain amount of weight. And if you really wanted, you could go through and do the math on it, figure out exactly how many thrusters you'd need of whatever type for the atmosphere of the moon and all that. Okay, I didn't go far enough back. So, we'll do leave out and load game. And we'll go here to the backups. Like I was saying though, you can do the math and figure all that out ahead of time to know how much you need and all that. I don't. That's too much work for me. Maybe if there's like some big project, like a ship that I really want to get done right, then maybe I would spend the time and effort to do all the calculations and stuff for the number of thrusters I'd need and all that. Like if I'm going to make a ship that's designed to be able to haul stuff on and off the planet of like the alien planet or whatever, because that has like, the highest gravity in the game. If I was going to do something like that, right, where it's massive gravity, tons of cargo, yeah, I'd probably go and actually do the calculation. But stuff like this, nah, I have it's too small of an issue for me to put that much effort in. So, there we go. Now we're loaded back in and haven't made the mistake of filling up the cargo. So I just fly up to the base here. Now, one thing that I'm just now thinking of, I probably could have grabbed a GPS marker for that beacon over there and just jumped the base to it. That would have been too smart to do though. I'm not I'm not smart enough for that to think ahead like that, so it'll be fine. I can do, I'll get out of the atmosphere here and then I'll cruise over to one of these asteroids. There's one made of just ice right there, so I'll set my base up next to that. Because my number one concern is making sure that I have the base somewhere near a source of fuel. That way I can kind of ensure in the long run I'll have a decent amount of fuel. And there's plenty of ice on the moon as well. Now, I've seen videos where people have been, or not people, but there was one content creator in specific that I'd seen talking about it. But they wanted to do a project where they try to mine the entirety of the moon. Which, I mean, realistically, the moon's relatively small compared to any other planet, but that is still a massive, massive project to try to accomplish. I haven't looked into it to see if they had already done it, or if it was just an old post I was looking at, or if it was something more recent. So they may have already built up a kind of rig to do that. feel like this asteroid's going to be a little further away than what I actually wanted. I don't know, this might be about as far as, or as close as asteroids can get to the surface of the moon. I'm not 100%. But what I was kind of envisioning was like really close by, like right next to the atmosphere limit. But I guess this asteroid up here will have to do. It's a pretty sizable one too. Yeah, that's like still right on the edge of like the base game render distance for voxels, because it still has that wavy effect to it. This is going to be a good, my guess is about 25 kilometers out from my current base location. Yeah, because it's still more than 5,000 meters away from me, because it hasn't shown up on my radar in the top right yet. Actually, I might be able to park the base in between these two asteroids here, and then whether I decide to go for the ice or go for whatever resources might be in that one, I'll be an equal distance away. Let me see what is in that one. Turn my dampeners on and I'll fly over to this one here real quick just to see what kind of resources we have in this little cluster of asteroids here. We got nickel. Is that the only thing here? May very well be. Yeah, the rest of the asteroid should be well within the ore detector range, so it seems the only thing here is nickel. It's kind of unfortunate. I was hoping for something a little bit better, but that'll be fine. What I'll do is I'll try to get in between these two asteroids here. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, so I have the other asteroid on the radar there. And right around here. I think right here is about the midpoint, maybe a little closer to the ice than the other one, but this should be good enough right here. So we'll do a slash BPS, oops, slash didn't go in. We'll call this one here base location. And do I want to load up on ice before I head back? Probably not, because there's a good chance I might dip into the atmosphere of the moon on the way back, and I don't want to have a full inventory and then crash to the surface of the moon. So yeah, we're 30 kilometers out from the base. What I'll do is I'll just leave the dampeners off and cruise back over to the base, and if I dip into the atmosphere, I'll be able to turn my dampeners on and should be able to stop myself from falling to the surface. And I'm thinking first order of business when I get the base jumped over to that location is I'll probably grind off the jump drives that I have on the base, because I could use those resources to rebuild those jump drives on. I guess I could put them on the Mercy and then use that as like a much lighter ship that I can just jump to some of these unidentified signals with. What I'll need to do is keep a decent inventory of components on the Mercy. Probably not too much. I'm thinking around about 1,000 of each component, maybe. Probably not the radio components. There's certain things I won't need that much of, but for most stuff like the steel plates and stuff like that, I'm thinking around about 1,000 should be good. Because I don't want too much, but I don't want to be in a situation where I don't have anything to repair a couple of critical components and stuff. The original plan was to get Mercy destroyed and create another ship, but for the time being, I think retrofitting Mercy with some of those jump drives is probably a good idea. Because I need to start getting some of these Prototech blocks. Or, well, I don't need to, but I want to. And you can only get those from the unidentified signals, which are several million meters away. And I'm thinking I'm going to keep the base location GPS coordinate. I'll just turn it off once I get the base there. And then that way, if I fly too far off or anything like that, I'll still be able to have the GPS marker to the base. And I might bring the antenna range of the base down a good ways once I get the base put over there. So right now it's set to 40 kilometers is the distance that I should be able to detect my the broadcast of the base. But that eats up a good bit of power. Not that anything on my base is particularly power efficient as it is, but I do want to try to save what I can. If it's going to be sitting there permanently, then I don't need it to be on, like actually broadcasting the base location, because then I can just have a static GPS marker instead. Go ahead and turn on the auto dock here and let it do its thing, see if that still works. And at some point what I want to start doing is probably jump over to creative and design a couple drones, little, not really combat focused per se, but just a few little drones, maybe have Gatling turrets on them with something kind of like that. I feel like this is going to crash into Mercy, so I'm going to turn that off and I'll manually guide it around. Because I don't want it to crash. Not with the Prototech drill on the front there. Let's move it over here and then turn it back on. Should be able to orientate itself without crashing anything now. It shouldn't crash regardless, but it's better safe than sorry. And what I can do now, the moon atmosphere marker, that can go. I don't need that anymore. And station home location, that can go, because I need the base home location. Right here, and I'll drop in the same hex code for my other markers, and I'm going to do some capitalization on this. Or actually, let's do moon base station location. Okay, so we'll do that. And now come over here, mag lock. I just let out a ton of my pressurization. I didn't think about that. Anyway, let's come over here. And my first order of business, right? I want to come over here to my jump drives. And I don't want to turn them off, but I want to turn recharge off, because when I do this last jump, this is the last jump I'm going to do, and I don't want them charging back up because I'll be removing these, right? So do that, and then I need to look for the EMS moon base station location. Okay, we'll select that. That's the GPS coordinate for the jump. Hit a save in case something goes wrong, and jump. Okay. So here we are. We should be pretty close. Yeah. So there's the ice asteroid there. And what I want to do, I want to have my station oriented in a way where the mining vessel is pointed towards the asteroid with the ice on it. And also, I want to have my top of my base to be pointed towards the moon. So that way I can be like on the surface here and I can still see the moon just from the kind of like the top plane of my base, I guess. And the reason I want to have the mining ship oriented facing towards the ice asteroid is just so that as soon as I undock, I don't have to do too much adjustment for pathing there, so I can just fly straight over there. I don't have to worry about trying to find where it's at, aim the ship to it, and all that extra work. I can just go ahead and do all the work here to get it lined up in the first place. And yeah, something like that'll work. That'll be close enough. And then, oops, wrong thing. I want to nose down. Go like that. And have it to where when I'm standing on the top plane of my base, I can see the moon. So we'll orientate about there will be fine. Yep. Then come over here and convert to a station. Turn off all the gyros and all that. And now I'll hop into Maggie, undock, and I'll go ahead and get rid of these jump drives. Careful flying in here, make sure I don't hit anything important. And here we go. Start taking these out. Ooh, okay. That's a lot of weight. That'll take me a couple of trips then. So yeah, I think this is a nice little view right here. We get the sun right there, the moon, some asteroids. Most importantly, the Earth-like planet isn't in my field of view. I guess it's just full. So we're here to do ECCG here. Everything I can. I didn't. Okay, well that works too. I forgot to select just the inventory of the Maggie. Okay, so that one's full. This one's not full, so I can dump the credits and power kits into that one. Okay. Now we'll undock, come back. And hopefully all of these components will go into the inventory rather than being dispersed around the base. Okay. And I'm not going to have enough inventory to get the other two just yet. Back out. Turn auto dock on. Now I need to leave the beacon on because I believe that's what I utilized for all of my docking here, which I can check. Yep, reference beacon. So yeah, the beacon I need to leave on. But I can go base detection range. Okay, well that I can leave on as well. But we can drop this down from 40,000 to just 5,000. There you go. And that dropped the input by a lot. So yes, 500 watts for 5,000 and 40,000. How much was that? 4 kilowatts. So I'm saving a lot of power by decreasing the range. Now that we're docked up though. CCG. Dump. Now, I could leave those other 2 jump drives. I'm really debating on it. You know what? Fuck it. I'll leave those. I'll leave the other 2 jump drives just as a kind of backup in case I need to jump the base. I don't have to build as many jump drives. But these 2 here, that'll be fine. We'll remove the waypoint off of it. I'll go ahead and set max distance, even though I'm not going to be using it. We'll turn recharge on, even though I'm not going to be using it. That'll be fine. Okay. So now, need to see where in the Maggie can I find room, or not Maggie, Mercy, can I find the room to place a jump drive? So let's come down here. That's just the airlock for the rear. Let's see. This is all filled up with gyros and such. There's not going to be room in here. But in here, I think there would be room for a jump drive if I get rid of all these grids I have. It's kind of sitting up here. And I move this hydrogen engine. I can probably fit in the jump drive in here. It would make it really difficult to come in here to work on stuff though, because it's going to be too high, 2 blocks high. So, or no, 3 blocks. Wait. No, because it's 2 by 3 by 3. So if I lay it flat, it'll be 2 blocks high, so it would go up right to the edge of there. And 3, so yeah, 1, 2, 3. So I'd have just the tiniest little bit of space to get in here. I should be able to fly up, and no, I won't be able to get up here to the front. So I'll have to access the missile bay through the actual opening, rather than from here. Unless I can manage to fit it from the sides there. But I'll need to move this hydrogen, which isn't built all the way. What about these? 90. Oh, I know what happened. It got shot a while back when this missile was being attacked. Forget what we were fighting, but there was something that was focused on the front of Mercy here. So this might actually not be a good place to put a jump drive then, because it's going to be very exposed due to this opening, which we've already found gets targeted. There you go, that block was kind of deformed. I think that was... Okay, well that's not the reason I couldn't fly through here. I know I can get through there, it's just a pain. Try to... There we go. Okay, now I'm up. So yeah, that all will get targeted. So that's probably not a good place to put a jump drive then. Fix a little bit of deformation. Oh yeah, this is that's been opened up. So I'm thinking Mercy probably doesn't have too many more runs left in her. Because once this front here goes, that's gonna have two of my batteries pretty well exposed. Luckily the hydrogen tanks haven't taken any hits. Container's fine on her. Okay. And this is all, it's all just armor, it looks like this mainly been damaged. So I could repair that up pretty easy. It's not going to take too many more resources and I can definitely extend the life of her. But kind of do want to get a different ship though. Let's see, what blueprints do I have? Fringe Raider. What is this? Reactor or battery power, short range enemy detector. Projector for easy repairing, connector for easy recharging, loading, 4 Gatling guns to reloadable missile launchers. Okay, that's an interesting little ship here. For some reason the description is fucked for that blueprint, so that's great. The encounter constructor, encounter corvette, encounter mercenary. That's what Mercy is based on. Or, well, I guess Mercy is a retrofitted mercenary wreckage, but let's see. Encounter Prometheus. Tracker is a small festival that can carry 2 to 3 junkers. Primary role is to track down salvage. That's great materials. Once materials are secured, tracker will place a beacon for a large ship to arrive and salvage the rest. Small freighter. Blockade runner. Built for smuggling purposes. Interesting. Skyjack, trade runner. I kind of want a better combat ship than what I have currently. None of these blueprints are really blowing me away. I'll do. I'll come in here. Sit down in this chair. I'll charge my suit. I'll make a save and leave it paused. And we'll come over here to the workshop. Let's take a look here. Type specific, I just want blueprints. And let's have a look through here. Got a heavy cruiser. It's got angled thruster packs, so I'm thinking that's using subgrids, which will not print well. Guided missile destroyer. Glaive class assault cruiser. Reservoir artillery ship with spinal weaponry. Let's take a look at this. This doesn't look too bad. Don't think my printer will be able to print this though. 3 jump drives. These are scripts. Nah. That's bigger than what I can print as well. Got a bunch of little Gatling turrets on it. Small grid, it probably won't be able to take too much damage before being ripped apart. Freighter. So this is one thing that I've noticed. A lot of the time, like, you can find some really cool, really well-built stuff on a workshop. But a lot of times, if there's something specific you have in mind, it's better to make it than it is to try to find a blueprint already built. Because none of these are really fitting what I actually had like, in mind here. Let's take a look at this Jupiter battleship. What do we got? Large grid safe. I have all the DLC strong accessories. Missile launcher that fires small grid missiles thanks to the help of land. Don't move while using. Yeah. I can imagine that probably would pretty fatal flaw to move while trying to launch a missile. Oh. Yeah, I'm not gonna get that one. Let's see here. What is this? We got a mix of ion and hydrogen. That turret looks fairly close to those thrusters. It's got a unique shape overall. Kind of like that. It's a frigate. Got missile turrets on the sides, it looks like. Those can be swapped out. It's not too bad. I'll think about that one. Survival radio mods does have scripts. Vast agile designed for exploration using Prototech technology. Can fly in gravity up to 1G and in space. Ready for survival. That sounds promising. Let's take a look here. So we got 5 turrets on either side. 4 at the front. 2 on the bottom, I think. 3 on the bottom. Got a mix of hydrogen ion. Really detailed internals. I'm not going to need any of these cryo chambers. That's looking pretty good to me. I don't think my printer will be able to print all that out though, because it looks kind of wide, but I'll go ahead and save that and give that a try too. Or I'll put it on the projector and take a good look at it. Provenance Cruiser? Yeah, my printer's not going to be able to print that in one go. Box. Pelican. It's got mainly ions. That looks like unless there are hydrogen engines like inside of it. Small grid though, so probably don't want to put that up against Effectorm. Oh, excuse me. Sea fighter. Vulture gunship, a Zenith destroyer. And that one looks kind of interesting with the way the thruster packs are. Kind of like that. It just says a combat cruiser. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Don't really know what all systems are in place on it. Not sure if it has a jump drive or not. Zenith destroyer. Ooh, absurd amount of weaponry. That sounds exactly like what I want. The Harbinger. I think that's going to be way too large for my printer. That's a large grid. Those bins there look absolutely tiny in scale with the whole ship. So I'm thinking this is absolutely massive and probably will not fit on my printer. Same with this. This looks way too big for the printer. Ooh, got a nice amount of railguns though. I'm thinking that's probably 8, right? 4 on each side. Alright. No, I don't want this to be solely just a space engineer's workshop, not review, but like just browsing the workshop, you know. Got modular station. Oh, this is very interesting, actually. That might actually be really neat to play around with. Just print off sections of a station and just build onto the station I have. Collection pit, cargo modules. Liftable collector. A linear collection module. Huh. That's pretty interesting. Kind of like that. Okay, so now we're into some more, like, already, reviewed blueprints here. Cargo ship with mods. Yeah, I don't want anything that's modded, because, it might be a mod that's in conflict with ones I already have, and stuff. I don't want to mess with that. Corvettes. There's Apollo. Modless. Interesting. It's a really unique shape there. I'm thinking it's probably got a bunch of subgrids on it, right? Yeah, I'm almost certain of it. Let's check here. Don't open a blueprint in a world with indestructible block. That looks kind of complicated to repair and way too large for my printer. So, as interesting as that is, I don't think I'll mess with it. Moth? Mechanical moth. Okay. That's really cool, but that is definitely not what I'm looking for. Okay. Yeah. Okay, USS or URS Merlin, and very interesting. I don't think that'll fit on my printer. Fortunate. Okay, well, grabbed a couple of blueprints, so let's take a look here. Where's my printer? It's going to be over on this side. Turn off the waypoints for right now. And let's go here too. Okay, I need a printer, not projector. How'd you get printer? Turn that on. And let's see here. So blueprints that I just saved should show up in here. Reload. Okay. Let's start off looking at the Zenith Destroyer. That's gonna be too long for my printer, unfortunately. I can probably work around that though. But the width of it looks close. I mean, I can probably do that. It's a hydrogen-based ship. Where is the port on it? There's no connector for it. I don't remember if this was one that was marked as survival ready or not. Don't think it was. But I'm not seeing any connectors on there. So print head, and we'll select a different blueprint here. Take a look at the multiple grids not supported. I'll make a large. Oh, okay. Well, that's not good. So this one probably won't be printable then. Because I'm not sure what the subgrids are for, and I don't want to print something that's not going to end up working because it's going to take way too long to break it back down and print a different one. So not mess with that. Print head, blueprints. Okay, so these two are out. Just take a look at this one then. Okay, no warnings on it. And way too big for the printer. Oh crap, that's a massive ship. Well, I could expand on my printer and try to print this. I think the length, it's going to be a little too long, but I don't think it'll be too big of an issue. The main thing is the width. That thing is, you could do it in halves. Like print one half of it, then flip it around, load it back to the base, and flip the projection, and then mold the other half. Thing looks really cool though. Might be worth it to do that one. So the other options aside from those three is this transport ship. I could modify it. It's a little long, but I could modify that. Some guns up there. It's got pretty exposed thrusters. That's an option. Something else I could do, I could modify the tracker. Incorrect grid size. Oh, okay, so the tracker is a small grid actually. Okay. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. I thought the tracker was a large grid. So multiple grids are not supported. It's unfortunate. That is just at the right size. I could slap some guns on there. How big's a Corvette? That's actually not too bad. Pretty sure I could do that in one go on the printer. Yes, solar panels on the sides. Very, very exposed thrusters though. And this one is a mix of hydrogen and ion. Side port connector. Yeah, I could replace the turrets that's on there. Grind those off. Put a conveyor to bring those up. And slap on a couple larger guns. I'll probably want to put a railgun on this one though. Or I guess I could keep going with kind of the Mercy sort of style of ship. Maybe just do another blueprints. Let's do another mercenary wreckage and do retrofitting on this one, but instead of doing the exact Mercy layout, I could just go with the railguns like I was originally going to do. Probably add in a ton of batteries and stuff. I'd still have the same issue of trying to figure out where to put the jump drives though, but I could, instead of the layout that I used for the auto docking and all that, on the level where the crew quarters was, I could clear out the crew quarters and just use that solely for 2 jump drives. And then put all of the AI blocks somewhere else. I think this was a small grid, right? Yeah, that was a small grid. Okay. So small cargo vessel. How small is the small cargo vessel? Tiny, it seems. Yeah. Pretty tiny. Yeah, it's definitely not going to hold up in too much of a large fight. Granted, it's not meant to, but I want to make some combat ships, so I'm thinking the Mercenary is going to be the best one for that. I'll bring it back to about there should be fine. Bring it up some. Okay. So yeah, I can definitely print off another mercenary ship, no problem. And basically just have a second Mercy. And it would print better the other way. So got here's a large print head. And I want to do pitch. Nope. Y'all. Yeah, that's upside down. Cool. No, maybe it was pitch then. Yeah, that'll work. Then I can do the vertical offset to line up with that block on the front, and we'll print it from the front back. So let's do forward offset about here, and vertical offset. Okay. Right there should be fine. Back one more block. And then I want to look at it from the front forward. And go to print. And we want the horizontal offset. Right there. Yeah. Okay. That should work just fine. And then I can build up and just put that block inside of where the missile launcher is. And I can build it from the missile launcher back. And I should be able to get all those blocks. Now, one thing I want to do is go to page 9. Oops. Don't know what I did there. F7. F6. Yeah. So I hit the wrong button. So we want to do Control 9. There we go. And okay. 8 was to extend the pistons on that. Okay. So I want to bring that. I can either bring that forward a block, or I can bring the printer back a bit and start it a little further back. I think right there should work. Then I can turn all the pistons off. And what I want to grab is weight. Then there, grabbing some plates. Now let's take a look here. Actually, yeah, that'll work. Let's do G. Light armor block. We'll do Shift P. Oops. There we go. Pull this up to here. And I'll put these on just like that, and then I can just grind all that off. Okay. So yeah, that should work just fine. Let's go P6G, dump everything back in there. I only have 197 power cell. Okay, well, I got a little more than that. Come here to production. We'll go to assembling. base assembler. We'll do 200 more power cells, just make sure we have enough of those. Like 40 more of those, make sure we got those. I think everything else I should have plenty of. Large scale tubes, medical components, we're good on all that. Oh, I didn't need the radio components. Okay. We got a decent amount of computers. We got all the gravity components I'll need. So, yeah, I'm thinking I can probably go ahead and print this. Pull up the save here. Come in here. And let's... Does it tell me what speed I had these set to? No, it does not. I'll go ahead and turn that on. And turn on the pistons. Let's see, this one... Okay, so 1 is faster than 2. So I'll leave it on the... Not by 2 sitting, so it'll go kind of slow. I'm thinking I probably have all the components I need. I might be able to just leave it on the faster setting, actually. That's still moving kind of slow. If I remember correctly, it's going to need help with the windows and some of the lights. Oh yeah, it can build up pretty fast, so I'll leave it on the faster setting, I guess. Yeah, it's printing up pretty quick. Let's do this over here and check, make sure keep projections on. Yeah. Okay. Should be good. We'll have a second Mercy pretty soon. Well, actually, that's gonna take a while. Yeah, it should be fine. I think for this second one here, probably change up my turret layout some. Like for all of these, uh, I don't particularly want to get rid of glass doors because that is kind of nice to have just to do the extra protection. But these, I want to bring these up. Especially these right here. It's like plopping another conveyor down and having that come up some, so it has a little bit of extra height. I think would be very beneficial. So another thing that I'll probably want to do for the second one is I'll probably get rid of this airlock here, right? Like I can grind that down, grind down all this. I might be able to fit a jump drive in here instead. And then up here, just like I did with this one, I'll cut all this out. And probably actually I'll do even more than I did with the last one. And just, like, from this wall to this wall, just grind everything in the new one out all the way up to the door. And then place my jump drives, and then in whatever space I have left, use that for some extra gyros and some of my flight and event controllers. And majority of the flight and event controllers I'll probably try to fit in here. So there's a good bit of space I can utilize for that inside here. The O2 generators, I'll probably want to take some. What was that? That was a fucking massive explosion. Let me get out. Let me get out. Let me get out. Come on. That was not a good sounding sound. Come on. Mother. Let me get out of here. Fucking hell. What was that explosion? What the fuck is this? Scrap metal. Why is there scrap metal here? What blew up? Projectile's fine. That's good. Too bad there. Okay. So that's not good. Printer missed some items. I still don't know what blew up. Okay. Well, I'm gonna exit without saving, and I'm gonna set the printer to an even slower speed. Load game. Load one backups. See, yeah, that one was right at the start of print. So I'm gonna go back to the save. Okay. So let's do Control 9 at number 2, because that was the slower of the two speeds. I think. Actually, for right now, I can just do that and turn it all off. I want the G menu here, and I want to look for printer pistons. And I'll just add one right here. Set velocity to a negative. We'll do 1.5. Confirm. And then hit 6. So that should be pretty slow. Why is my sensor not working? Huh. Okay, well, whatever. It'll be fine. Now, yeah, that piece of scrap that was floating up here isn't here now, so I don't know what blew up. That was very concerning. So, I don't know why it missed some blocks. Maybe I don't have the materials I think I have. But regardless, I'm going to probably just leave the camera right about here. I guess I could probably do this actually with the free cam instead and just watch. I did turn those pistons back on, didn't I? I think I did. Let me check. Yeah, they're on. And they're reversing at a negative velocity, so it's perfect. Okay. So, what I'm gonna do, I'll make a save here. And I'll go ahead and I'll stop recording. And I'll let this print play through, and I don't know, I might start recording again and let the print play like in a separate recording, or I might play kind of off camera for a while and let this print finish up and then start recording when I go to do some more retrofitting like I did in the previous episode where I made the Mercy first time around. And I'll probably record the retrofitting, but I don't know about the printing, if I'll record the printing or not. But we'll see. I'll go ahead and stop this recording here though.